As you go into 2016, you've got Ellsbury, Gardner, Beltran, Aaron Hicks is the fourth outfielder. That looks to be in good shape if, Meredith, you can keep Ellsbury and Gardner on the field.
I think that's the biggest thing. And Beltran as well, you can put him in that category. But the Yankees were best last season when both Ellsbury and Gardner were on the field healthy and running on the bases. Last year, Gardner only 20 stolen bases. That has been down from what he did in 2010, 2011 when he was in the 40s. And he may never be that guy again, but it seems like he's stopped running. And that's something that the Yankees really wanted to be more aggressive on the base paths. And same with Ellsbury. When he got injured and came back, it was clear he was a different player. He wasn't comfortable running anymore. Outfield, he was fine, but offensively, he wasn't the same guy.
Meredith, injuries are always a factor, but I could not agree with you more. Ellsbury became a dynamic player in part because of his legs. Gardner is a pesky, feisty player in part because of his legs, and both of those guys lost that. And I think Meredith's 100% right. They have to regain that. And if you go back and look at their stats, up until about the end of July, you'd take those stats for the rest of the year. It was just they plummeted for those last 2 months. The Yankees, without a doubt, need bounce-back seasons from both of those guys.
And does it make sense then, if they're not going to run, to keep them 1-2 in that lineup?
I liked it best when they are 1 and 2. But speaking to Jack's point, sometimes when a player stops running, it's not just because it's his legs. It's just, it's the sliding, it's the diving, the upper body hurts. Everything hurts by the end of the summer, and it begins to weigh on a player's head. So I think a fresh Gardner, we'll probably see him run again, or I'd like to think so, because he's still very, very quick from home to first.
Meantime, Carlos Beltran goes into the final year of his contract. Clap, any idea what to expect from him in 2016?
Well, look at what he did in the last 2 months of the season. He hit 11 home runs after August 1st, and I'm sure the Yankees would sign up for that again. I think Beltran was a great sign when he first came along. The question is, could he stay healthy? Look, he played 133 games last year in his age 38 season. It's probably unrealistic to get that many from someone who's going to be 39 in April, but I think that if you can tap into that, let's say over 110, 120 games, he can be very, very productive and a really big help.
And that's really the problem with Beltran, trying to keep him on the field, keep him healthy at that age. And unfortunately for the Yankees, Alex Rodriguez is their full-time DH, so there's really not a lot of room to take his bat out of the lineup, or to take his bat out of the lineup without giving him a full off day. Maybe Alex Rodriguez will get a couple days off. You can give him a half day, but he's going to be playing in the outfield, which is just going to be wear and tear on his body.
Jack, which brings up the name Aaron Hicks. It makes you think, how many reps can he get? We've seen players with the Yankees get probably more at-bats and turns at the plate than we thought they would, probably.
Right, Chris Young being an example of that, but Beltran was their best offensive player after May 1st, but the defense is just not there anymore. You look at Hicks as a guy who not only could be insurance in right field, can be a defensive replacement, but if Beltran has an injury, you have Hicks there. And then the point we didn't bring up when we talked about Gardner, Hicks is also insurance if the Yankees use Gardner to go and get a pitcher. So the Yankees getting Hicks gives Brian Cashman and Joe Girardi insurance and flexibility.
All right, there are a lot of Yankees fans who want to know, will Aaron Judge have an impact on the 2016 team?
I think he's got a place. I mean, you've got to find room for him, and I guess we're going to have to assume that Beltran's going to get hurt. I mean, I just said the Yankees hope that he wouldn't, but if he does not, I think we're going to see a lot of Aaron Judge, and he may just be ready.
And you know what, Meredith, Bob talked about it. Can you get 120, 130 games out of Carlos Beltran? If you can't, or it's around that number, maybe we see Judge in limited appearances coming up from AAA.
And you know what? They're in a position right now where they haven't been in this position in a long time, the Yankees system, that is, where they have the guys to bring up. And you saw it a little bit last year when guys went down. You had Slade Heathcott, you had Mason Williams. They came up, they contributed, they played pretty well. But Aaron Judge could be a guy that could be a big difference maker. In speaking with people that have seen him in the Yankees organization, they are impressed, and they just keep getting more impressed. Now, the only question is, will it translate to the big league level? And you don't know that until they get there.
I actually think Aaron Judge, best case scenario, is he plays an entire season at AAA. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with injuries, but he hasn't conquered AAA pitching yet, so I don't think you want to put the cart before the horse. Now, he may go and have 2 great months in AAA and force his way onto the Major League roster. He has to do that first, so I believe 500 at-bats at AAA, and then you ticket him as a starting player in the season after that.
So part of this conversation has sort of led to the fact that the Yankees have this outfield depth, certainly in the minor leagues. In fact, so much so that they left Jake Cave unprotected. He was taken in the Major League portion of the Rule 5 draft today by the Cincinnati Reds. Bob, a guy who was at AA, got some at-bats at AAA, but he's going to get a big league chance now with the Reds.
Yeah, I mean, he'll fit. The Reds need outfielders. I mean, he wasn't going to get a spot with the Yankees. He's not really a home run hitter. He's a left-handed hitter who probably could not have taken advantage of the short porch in the Bronx, mostly for doubles and gaps. I think he has a real shot to play in Cincinnati.
And it speaks to the depth, Jack, that the Yankees have, and the fact that some of their young guys are just getting a chance elsewhere.
All right, we mentioned the other left-handed hitting outfielders they have. Let's start at the major league level with Ellsbury and Gardner. Then they've got Williams, they've got Heathcott, they've got Ben Gamel. So Cave was expendable, and for the $50,000 that teams put out there to get the guy, it's worth the risk for the Reds. They see what the guy is, and maybe he can stick on their roster for the entire season. There were actually 10 Rule 5 picks that stuck on major league rosters last year.